I'm prepared to prophesy before very long, if you go to a posh banquet and the waiter leans over your shoulder and he says, a little light meat, sir, a little dark meat, sir, chipolato sausage, you will not be able to tell whether what you're eating has come from a turkey, a pig, or a soya bean.
This man could be growing your next meal. He's controlling a process which manufactures meat from fungus. This will produce protein much more economically than cows and pigs, but what will the meat itself taste like? Is technology improving the quality of our food, or with its scientific exactness producing dullness and uniformity? As the processes advance, foods get cheaper, they achieve guaranteed standards, and above all, they become increasingly convenient for the consumer. But is it all really progress?
We're all part of a massive experiment. Our food is being changed from a traditional to a new technologically based diet, and we don't know what the consequences of this are going to be.
Less than 2 generations ago, food meant the natural thing, and processing was for eccentrics and Antarctic explorers. The revolution really began in the 20s, when war surplus of tin plate was used in can manufacture. From the beginning, the technology created the demand, which has never stopped increasing. By 1971, this country will consume 2 million cans of baked beans a day and 300,000 tons of tinned peas a year. It's all been progress to Dr. Magnus Pike.
When I was a boy at school, which is some considerable time ago, preserved peas meant peas pudding, and they contain no vitamin C at all. Subsequently, we had what are called processed peas, still a lot of processed peas eaten, and in their area they're quite a good food, but they are dried peas, coloured green and cooked up so that they taste, broadly speaking, like green peas, but they're not the same as green peas.
The 1930s brought freezing methods. Captain Clarence Birdseye developed a method of freezing beans on a commercial scale, and by 1945, frozen food was being generally marketed in this country. This, it seems, has been a considerable advance.
Frozen peas have been a great success. Nutritionally, they contain approximately the same amount of vitamin C that you'd get from eating green peas from the garden. But you can only get green peas from the garden in the middle of the summer. You can get frozen peas all round the year.
Hey, little hen, when will you lay me an egg for my tea?
A powerful stimulus to food technology came with the Second World War, and ways were developed of dehydrating eggs and potatoes.
One for me. Get into your nest.
The liquid was sprayed through a heated tower. The water evaporated, leaving a rubbery but storable egg.
Hey, little hen, when will you lay me an egg for my
Big mashed potato every time.
Potatoes are a horrible, inconvenient food. They're knobbly, they're dirty, they need peeling. They never boil when you want them. Now, instant potato is a marvelous advance. And technically, it's very good. Some of the modern ones are admirable. I think everyone will admit that. But it was rather a surprise for some of the people making instant potato to discover that although potatoes traditionally are what we tend to depend on most for our vitamin C in the wintertime, the instant potato, properly made, had no vitamin C in it at all. Now here technology came to the rescue of technology, because well-prepared instant potato now have vitamin C, ascorbic acid, a synthetic food, added to them.
And now what seems the ultimate process, the freeze-drying of egg. The finished product will have all the taste characteristics of the original. A clever combination of emulsifying additives permits the egg to be concentrated without losing its special qualities. Then the egg is frozen. It'll be reheated at a very low pressure so that the ice will be converted directly to water vapor. The result is claimed to have all the advantages of the original egg, plus the added factors of a longer life and easier use. This is the instant egg for an instant-oriented society.
Types of food served, it's broken down as follows. Cereals, 55% of all households serve cereals.
As the new processes develop, market research finds new ways of using them. Breakfast is known to be in the process of becoming a snatched, hurried meal, and so perhaps there's a need for a convenience egg here. Fantastic methods of presentation can be dreamt up.
And there's certainly a convenience benefit there if it could be done technically. To have a tray with bacon and egg and fried bread and grilled sausage and tomatoes and so on that you simply slip into the oven while you nip upstairs and get the kids ready for school when you come down. It's not been tried.
And if one had a deep frozen egg in some sort of foil dish that one actually took and dropped into a pan of boiling water.
You mean you drop the whole dish in?
Drop the whole dish in. You can then peel off the lid and it's a completely servable breakfast there.
One might recreate the egg all over again. It's an egg shape. It has a shell of some sort. You would boil it, I guess, you know? And I don't know what it contains, but it could be kind of solid egg and bacon in an egg shape, or solid sausage and tomato, but whatever it is a concentrated high protein, and it is the new egg.
But what happens to food as it gets built up into more convenient forms? What happens to the quality? Take bread, a £400 million market. It's become the ultimate in predictable products, suited to the majority of consumers. Each piece of dough is accurate to within 1%. It has a precise weight, constituency, and measure of chemical additives, the details closely guarded from rival factories.
It's almost as though one is at war with one's competitors. And essentially, the point is that you establish the quality which the customer likes and appreciates, and you maintain that quality. The production of a thoroughly reliable product, which is the same today, tomorrow, and every day, so that every day the customer buys exactly the same sort of article.
The dough has spent a minimum time in the oven, but because all the flavour is in the crust, this bread is consequently tasteless. The reason is that the whole design is for convenience. First, for the housewife, because she wants a thin crust that will not go stale quickly. Second, for the machinery. Too thick a crust would wear out the cutting blades when it comes to be sliced. In spite of the blandness of its product, this factory produces the most successful bread on the market, the brand leader. Quality control involves checking for colour and texture, never for taste.
I'm looking for a well-developed loaf, clean, 4-piece, which it should be. And I know it's been moulded properly. Internally, I should be looking for a nice white appearance, fine texture, to suit the housewife for buttering, etc. This is all I can look for.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky.
This kind of bread manufacture pays off. Because the main thing a housewife looks for is a soft crust. This shows her the bread will last. Good taste is a low priority. Market research has proved she's most concerned to avoid staleness.
The British housewife is tremendously conservative in her requirements for food. What she is looking for is satisfaction from her family. And by that I mean that there is no rejection factor. If one has a family sitting down, the housewife serves them a meal, she is obviously concerned and worried if 2 or 3 around the table leave the same product. This is rejection of what she has prepared for them.
The food industry takes great pains to avoid this rejection factor, and all other considerations are subordinated to it. It has recognized that what the consumer most requires of tomato ketchup is that it should pour easily but not gush out of the bottle. Taste is secondary. The brand leader has won over half the £7 million market by developing an almost perfect viscosity. Profits depend upon getting little details right. Even members of the industry admit that technology often gets used not to improve a product, but to copy competitors. Food marketing consultant Tom O'Leary.
You can actually find a situation where there is a national brand leader and someone launches into the market. They can, of course, do a Me Too and try and get as near the national brand leader as possible.